Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel Economics. I am Ranu Das and today we will discuss about utility function. So before going to the main topic, let's get understand what is utility. So utility refers to the satisfaction or the benefit that a consumer or a person derives from consuming a good or a service. Okay. And what is utility function? A utility function is a mathematical representation of an individual's preference or satisfaction level. Okay, so now come to the main topic, that utility. So utility is two types, cardinal and ordinal. Cardinal utility was less realistic and ordinal utility was more realistic. And cardinal utility also known as classical approach. And cardinal utility give importance to magnitude and numbers, but ordinal utility give importance to ranking. And in case of ordinal utility, magnitude, and in case of cardinal utility, we use the unit utils to measure cardinal utility. And here the word magnitude means size or amount or utility. Okay, more magnitude means more utility and less magnitude means less utility. But in case of ordinal, it was not significant. So in this example, let's say there is two bundle A and bundle B. So let's say there is two-person, me and you. So when I consume A and B, I get utility from A 10 and utility from B 3. But when you consume that product A and B, you get 100 utils from A and 3 utils from B. So in case of ordinal utility, A is more preferable because it have more ranking. Okay, but in case of cardinal utility, we saw their magnitude. So here the magnitude is more in the case of you and less in case of me because I have a less difference, 10 and 3. But in case of you, there is a huge difference between 100 and 3. So you have more magnitude. But in both the cases, A is more preferable because it have more numbers. Okay, or more magnitude. But in case of ordinal, we only consider the ranking. Okay. So, cardinal, the size of utility difference between two bundle of goods is significant. In case of cardinal utility, the size of utility difference between two goods is significant. But in case of ordinal, it was not significant. So here the ranking is significant. Number magnitude does not add any additional layer information because here number and magnitudes are not significant. The second example, we have again two bundle A and B, and let's say there is again two people, me and you, and utility from A is 100 for you, and utility from B 50 for you. So let's assume that I am a hyperbolist. So for me, utility from bundle A is 10,000, from B 5,000. According to cardinal utility, I got more utility than you. So my magnitude is more than you, and according to ordinal utility, A is more preferable because the utility from A is more than utility from B. But in cardinal, we only consider magnitude and numbers. So now substitute goods utility function. So let's first understand what is substitute goods. So substitute goods are those goods that can satisfy the same need or wants as another product or service, and they are interchangeable, like tea and coffee, dress and sari, normal water and coconut water. So like this. So here we consider tea and coffee, which was the common example of substitute goods. A normal person never consume tea and coffee together, right? So if someone drink coffee right now, then the total utility that he or she gain is totally from coffee. Okay, zero from tea. And similarly, when if someone drink tea, right now, then the total utility that he or she gain is totally from tea and zero from coffee. So here x tea plus x coffee equals to 1. Here x tea x coffee is the utility that he or she gain from tea or coffee. Okay. So when we presented as a utility function, then u x1 x2, x1 is coffee and tea and x2 is coffee. Okay, so x1 plus x2 is the substitute course function, utility function, or we can again rewrite as u x1 x2 equals to a x1 plus b x1. Here A and B are the marginal utility that a consumer gain by consuming the additional unit of tea or coffee. So marginal utility of T is A and marginal utility of B or 2 is B. Okay. So marginal rate of substitution x1 x2 equals to minus marginal utility of 1 by marginal utility of 2 equals to minus A by B, which was the slope. In case of substitute goods, the IC or indifference curve is downward sloping straight line that represent that both the goods can be interchangeable. Okay. Next, complementary goods utility function. Complementary goods are those goods that are demanded simultaneously. We can consume them separately, like pen and ink, like pair of two shoes, left and right. We can change them with one another. एंड एठी आमे गोटे को बेसी नहीं कि गोटे को कम नेले भी किसी भी प्रोड्यूस हो पारबनी राइट और आमे कंज्यूम करि पारबनी लाइक मो पेन बेसी किन देछि इंक मो पाखरे गोटे रही अछि ताहले केमति मो ताको माने यूज करबी राइट सो हियर वी मल्टीप्लाई द टू यूटिलिटी to get the utility value. But in case of substitute code, we just add them. So in case of substitute code, we add the utility from tea and utility from coffee. But in case of complementary goods, we multiply the utility from pen and utility from ink. Okay. Here we take one bundle of pen and one bottle of ink, and then we produce one bundle of finished pen. ଏଟାକୁ ଆମେ ୟୁଟିଲିଟି ଫଙ୍କସନରେ କେମିତି ଲେଖିବା ନା ୟୁ ଏକ୍ସ ୱାନ୍ ଏକ୍ସ ଟୁ ପେନ୍ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଇଙ୍କ ହେଉଛି ଏକ୍ସ ୱାନ୍ ଏକ୍ସ ଟୁ ଇକ୍ୱାଲ୍ସ ଟୁ ମିନିମମ୍ ଏକ୍ସ ୱାନ୍ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଏକ୍ସ ଟୁ ମିନିମମ୍ ନେଇଛନ୍ତି ମାନେ ଯଦି ମୁଁ ଗୋଟେ ପେନ୍ ନେଉଛି ତାହେଲେ ଗୋଟେ ହିଁ ଇଙ୍କ ନେବି ଯଦି ଦୁଇଟା ଇଙ୍କ ନେଇଯିବି ତାହେଲେ ସେ ଗୋଟେ ହିଁ ପ୍ରଡ୍ୟୁସ୍ ହେବ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଇଙ୍କ ବେକାର ଯିବ ବୁଝିହେଲା ସୋ ଏଠି ସବୁବେଳେ ମନେ ରଖିବ ଯେ କମ୍ପ୍ଲିମେଣ୍ଟାରୀ ଗୁଡ୍ସ କ୍ଷେତ୍ରରେ ମିନିମମ୍ ଆସିବ ଏଟାକୁ ଆମେ ମଲ୍ଟିପ୍ଲାଏ କରିବା ୟୁଟିଲିଟିକୁ ତାହେଲେ ଆମେ ଭ୍ୟାଲୁ ପାଇବା or utility x1 x2 equals to minimum ax1 bx2 or x1 into x2 got it so here mrs xy marginal rate of substitution x1 and x2 equals to 0 because there is no chance of exchange but in case of substitute there is like we can exchange with tea with coffee coffee with tea right so in case of complementary code, the IC curve is L-shaped or right angled because the only possibility of conjunction is at here, these points. Okay. So next page, linear utility function. Whenever there is a word linear, that means a function having 1 in the power. So linear utility function means the satisfaction is directly proportional to the quantity of goods consumed. Means ମୁଁ ଯେତିକି goods ମୁଁ consume କରୁଛି same proportional ମୋତେ utility ବି ମୋର ସେତିକି increase ହେଉଛି ସେତିକି utility ମିଳି ଚାଲିଛି ଯେମିତିକି ମୁଁ ଏବେ ଗୋଟେ product ଧର consume କଲି ମୋତେ ଧର ଯେତିକି satisfaction ମିଳିଲା second କଲି ତାଠୁ ଟିକେ ବେଶୀ ମିଳିଲା ପୁଣି ଯେତେବେଳେ third କଲି ତାଠୁ सेम माने जिते सेठी इंक्रीज हेतला एठी भी सेम इंक्रीज हला माने मार्जिनल यूटिलिटी एठी कोन कांस्टेंट रहउची समस्त डिमिनिशिंग मार्जिनल यूटिलिटी पढ़ी थिवला राइट आमे प्लस 2 लेवल ले पढ़ी के आछंती तो सेठी कोन होला डिमिनिश होतला फोन इज कांस्टेंट हे कि जीरो हे जाउतला राइट बट इन केस ऑफ लिनियर यूटिलिटी फंक्शन द marginal utility is constant means there is no change in marginal utility that represent additional unit provide same level of satisfaction so in this function uxy equals to 2x plus 3y The power of x is 1 and power of y is 1, that means it was linear. And may their ratio is different, like 2 is to 3, right? But the magnitude is same. Okay, the marginal utility is same. So if we draw a diagram of this function, then that will be a downward sloping straight line. So next, quasi-linear utility function. So quasi-linear means partly linear and partly non-linear. Means we always consider two bundle, right? So if x is a linear bundle, then y is non-linear bundle. So in this example, x is non-linear and y is linear. Like u equals to log x. Log x is not linear. So x is non-linear and y power 1, so it was a linear function. Or in case of second example, u equals to x to the power 0.5. So 0.5 is not equals to 1, so it was non-linear. Plus y to the power 1 means it was linear. So diagrammatically, we present the curve like this. Okay. So firstly it was linear and then it was horizontal. Okay. Whenever there is any kind of word like linear, quasi-linear, then always check their power, and if there is log, then that was non-linear. So next, Cobb-Douglas utility function. It describes relationship between quantity of good consumed and amount of satisfaction or utility gain. Here the common thing is the power of bundle x and y together is equals to 1. Okay. Let's say if the power of x is alpha, then y power will be 1 minus alpha always. If we represent the Cobb-Douglas utility function with the help of IC curve or indifference curve, then at higher level it was straight line, but at lower level it was convex to the origin. Similarly, in case of constant elasticity of substitution or CES utility function, which was given by Aro Minach and Risolo, that we already studied on production function, the curve will be IC curve will be um, convex to the origin at lower level and straight line at higher level. And in case of says utility function, the elasticity between two goods is constant, and equation is u equals to x1 rho, it was rho sign, plus h2 rho, and whole power 1 by rho. Here rho is less than 1. So that's for today, students, and if this section is helpful for you, then share with your friends and subscribe to my channel for more such contents. Thanks for watching.